Thanks and welcome back. I am Chase, your COO here at Dynamic Educational Solutions. I'm joined here today with Rob, the CEO here at Dynamic Educational Solutions. What up, Rob?
Hola, ¿cómo está?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. How about you?
Yeah, I'm great, man. That is all the Spanish I know. Hola, agua,
See, you know a lot more Spanish than you
tequila.
let off.
Like, and I know all the important things I need to know.
all the
You know?
all the important words to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Baños.
I know what that means. Bathroom, right?
Yep.
Hey,
Tacos.
you know what I did? I was smart in high
Tequila.
school for my foreign language. I took Latin. You know, a dead language. I took Latin, not something useful like Spanish.
Well, I mean, it is smart, if you're looking to be a veterinarian or, go in and, I don't know, be a speech pathologist. I mean, what else would Latin be good for?
That's a great question. I mean, I find myself as a business owner with my brother, and we run a consulting company. So it's not helpful for me here in my current profession, but I'm sure at some point in time, you know what? I can pronounce prescription medication very well.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
read
I
the
can't
back
do
of
that.
nutrition labels. So it is
Yeah,
helpful.
I can't do that. So there you go. Hey.
Pays off.
4 years of Latin paid off so I could read prescriptions real good.
Yeah, I read prescriptions real good. I talk real good.
I practice my words every day.
Every day. Practice my words every day. I've been getting real good too. Okay. I'm great, man. I'm great. I hope you are too.
I'm doing well, man. I'm a little, you and I posted up on social media an article that got taken down. But I do want to continue to talk about it though, because it got me a little fired up. I mean, you shared it with me. It was
Yep.
the title of that headline was from Money Talks News, which is an affiliate of MSN. They started a conversation, in my opinion, never let us finish it. But they said the four reasons many military families are financially better off than the rest of us. Whew, that was a hard one, and it wasn't even an article. It was a reel.
A minute and 14 seconds, right? There's something like that.
14 seconds.
Yeah.
And they took it down like 24 hours after we posted it up.
Yeah. I don't think we approached it. Originally, whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. Why don't you go ahead and tell me how better off we are than everybody else? They didn't. They made two valid points and then 2 points that I think we should really have a conversation around. But I don't like the fact that they took the video down. So if you follow the link on our socials, it's not going to take you anywhere,
It's
which
gone.
is unfortunate. Yep.
Yeah. But the fourth thing, what were the 4 topics that they talked about? The 4 reasons many military families are financially better than the rest of us. Let's see here. Newly enlisted members of the military generally are paid at a relative pittance to defend our freedom. But the small pay hasn't prevented them from achieving big things with their money. What was it? I know, guys. I'm looking through this slideshow as it goes.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was they're better off from a personal finance standpoint. They're better off from like a retirement standpoint. They're better off debt
It's
to
saying
income.
that we have 49%. Military households have 49% more assets and have at least $250,000 in financial assets. I don't know how they came up with that number.
Well, it's like I told you yesterday. We were talking about it, and we watched the video together. What my takeaway from that was, and if this is what they're trying to project, I would agree with. From a home ownership standpoint, being an asset, from a home ownership standpoint, yeah. I mean, military veterans, we are better off because we don't have to make the 20% down payment that our civilian counterparts do.
Yeah, most of us do not. You're 100% correct.
Ooh, good point. Most of us, not all
I'm
of
sorry.
us. That's a
I had to
good
correct
point.
you on that. It is
Good
most
point.
of us. And I'm sorry, veterans, there are some caveats. That you might not hit a certain threshold, even as a veteran, to be able to take advantage of some of those benefits, like the VA home loan. But that is a whole nother conversation that we would love to have with you. If you're interested, shoot us a message. We'd love to connect with you.
And if it makes you uncomfortable to reach out, I refer you back to our desk talks titled Leveraging Your Benefits, where we discuss the criteria around eligibility for VA home loans.
That's right. They also talked about in this article that they are less likely to view debt as a problem. I think that's interesting.
That's the most asinine statement I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well,
what's their sample size?
The sample size, I'm glad you brought that up. 100 service members.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, and then they said that 55% of military households say that debt is not a problem. That is 9% higher than the percentage of non-military households that report the same. I don't know how that's a statistic that you can report.
Question. Because you're looking at it right now, right?
Yeah.
It says that's how they feel. They feel as though debt is not a problem, right?
It doesn't say feel. They say this is verbatim. This is the whole chunk here, paragraph, if you will. They are less likely to view debt as a problem. Speaking of the service member, 55% of military households say debt is not a problem. Period. There is 9% higher than the percentage of non-military households that report the same.
Okay, so that's a subjective statistic. Okay.
That's subjective. That's
so
not
I would challenge
backed.
that research right there.
And then the next one is they are more likely to have started retirement prep. Oh, this one I love.
What are we doing?
What do you mean
What are we
retirement
doing?
prep? That was not even an option for me whenever I joined. Like, I had to pay into retirement.
You had to.
Like,
yeah,
it wasn't an option.
Which one did?
At no point did they give me an opt-out form at any point in my career.
Go. I was going to say, now they gave you like 3 or 4 options to choose from for retirement, but you had to choose one, right? Because they took it from your pay.
4 options.
If I'm remembering correctly, now understand.
I got the option, and then I got the option to like whenever I was in the Marine Corps, is to chip in X amount of dollars towards senior, enlisted retirement, for retirement communities, like military retirement communities, for the MWR. There you go, MWR things.
See, I think you're showing your age here a little bit. Because whenever I joined, the young buck I am, we had options.
So much younger than me.
Yeah. We had options. No, and I'm being serious. Did we not have options? Because we're talking about SGLV, right? Or SGLI. That's life insurance. What am I doing? I'm thinking of the life insurance. You're absolutely right. We did not get. I don't recall an opt-in or opt-out option.
You didn't get an opt-in or opt-out for the SGLI insurance either, Bubba. I hate to let you know.
But you still had options. You could choose 400,000 was the top for me, and then it went like 300,000 or 200, something like that.
No, you're special.
Well, I've known that my entire life. That's what Mom said.
I'm telling you right now. Nobody asked me how much level of insurance coverage of SGLI you would like. It was just a blanket.
I don't know, man.
Boop.
Maybe I'm just better. I don't know.
No, maybe you asked the right questions.
That's maybe. Maybe I just worked my way into the Bring me back to the conversation, okay? Because you said something. You said something in there that concerns me. They are more than likely, or read it again.
They're more than likely to have started retirement prep.
More than likely So we have no statistics, no basis of fact to back this up.
Military households outperform non-military ones in retirement planning, including time management, health
Of course.
expenses, monthly income needs, and emergency preparedness.
I'm not going to disagree with them on that but
I'm not either.
the government puts programs in place for veterans and they do a great job. The DoD, the different branches of service, that I personally think, this is just my opinion, which should have been stated on the top of this article, that this is just my opinion. DoD does a great job in offering services for service members in financial literacy, retirement prep. Some of us just don't ever take advantage of it, but the programs are out
No,
there.
and I agree. I didn't, and I was young, and I didn't have anybody to encourage me to do those things. I did not have a good mentor to do those things. Even though AER, what was it? AER,
Army Emergency Readiness Program?
Yeah, emergency, place over there. I know I took several soldiers and I've used it, whenever I was in service once. And I remember going through there and they had all those things that they offered.
Sure.
But they were tucked away out of nowhere, and you had to get your commander's signature if you were going to take one of those classes and stuff like that. Like it was, and I don't know if everybody had this experience, but getting the commander to sign off on something was kind of a big deal. Kind of a busy guy. It was a little bit more difficult than just saying, "Oh, yeah, I want to take that class," because the commander, you had to submit that like a month and ahead. Most of the places that I was. And then
I think
they would judge it off of tempo and,
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're right, but I agree with the article on that one. On that one point, I agree with them.
And then the next point is they are more likely to be confident in their retirement prospects. Higher earning military households are more confident about retirement than non-military counterparts. Low income military families show no differences in confidence.
This article bothers me.
And why does it bother you? Talk about that. Why does it bother you?
Well, I'll tell you right now. I mean, you and I both went to college, right? And we learn how to properly conduct research. The sample size for this article was entirely too small. This was an opinion piece, and it was not listed as an opinion piece. All of the information, and I would even argue that the statistical data that was presented inside of that video or article, whatever we want to call it, it's all skewed. It's skewed in favor of the sample size, and it's also in favor of the subjective questioning that took place. There's no objective statistics inside of the article. And so in my opinion, again, which I think the article should have been titled "In Our Opinion," but in my opinion, this article is nothing but clickbait because it's all irrelevant data. But they do make good points. They do make good points that I agree with, in that we do have assistance programs inside of, for active duty service members. I can't speak for National Guard. I didn't live that life, or reserve. But for active duty personnel, you do have many resources available to you. And a lot of times the process that you have to go through, there's a lot of hand holding involved for military personnel and their families, just to make the process easier and provide clarity for us. Whereas our civilian counterparts, they may not even know where to go. Like you were talking about the AER. I remember whenever Melissa and I had our first son, we were told to go to that office, go to the AER office, and they'll tell you about a program called WIC. I had never heard of it before, but we were only on my income. We were in a foreign country, so we qualified for WIC. That was a huge benefit for us. Free groceries, and I'm sure there's other things that I'm not recalling right now. But for our civilian counterparts, from my understanding, they have to go to an office somewhere in their city. They have to apply for it or go online and navigate that process alone at times. I'll go back to the personal asset portion of that video. If they're talking about homes being as part rolled up in that asset, then sure, I agree with them on that, because I don't think I would have had the ability at 34 years old to own 3 or 4 separate homes at this point in my life without the VA home loan. However, I made the choice to join the military. My civilian counterparts, who I have heard people say, gosh, you are so lucky that you have that benefit. No, not lucky.
It was available to you. It wasn't luck in it. I just signed a paper and did it.
I'm lucky that
I think that links up there with, I almost joined.
Yeah. I know. I almost joined, but I stubbed my big toe on the way into the recruiter's office, and they told me I didn't qualify. But I
almost
would say
joined, but then I woke up and I realized
I'm a conscientious objector. I would say watch Hacksaw Ridge. It'll change your entire perspective on being in the military. But whenever people say those things like, "God, you're so lucky you have that benefit," I seriously, I think to myself, I don't think I've said it out loud, but I'm lucky that I have the ability to take advantage of that benefit, because whenever you have these people who signing up on active duty, or in the military period, regardless of what their job code is, what their MOS is, I'm not going to give that whole speech of you're writing a blank check on America's behalf. But you are, dude. You're saying, hey, I'm willing to go and fight. I'm willing to give my life for the liberties of people that I've never met and will never meet in my entire life. And that's just the reality of the situation. So the benefits that veterans have to them, those are earned. Those are earned benefits.
I just want to say thank you for the eloquent way that you just said that. I couldn't ever say that. I don't ever want there to be a misconception that I joined out of some kind of value system or, some kind of moral need to protect. Look, I'm not going to lie to all y'all. Listen to me. I was dumb and young and broke and didn't know what I was doing in my life, so I joined, and thank God I did, because I worked with some of the most fantastic people I've ever had an opportunity to work with, who literally took a young knucklehead and allowed me and gave me the space in the room to grow up and be a man, and figure it out, and was there to give me tough love all the way through it. So that's one of the benefits of being willing to go and do those things. And I agree with you. I was said, you know what? I'm not doing much here. So, let's go figure this out.
That was about my experience. I was a freshman in college, and I made the mistake of. How virtuous
for you to put it in the in the stance of protect up and stand for the freedoms of the flag. Look, that was part of it.
Is it not? When you stood in MEPS in front of that officer and you raised your right hand, we all said the same thing. Stand and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
Yeah, but it was about that. It was
I'm not trying to take some kind of moral high ground. I'm not, because I'm just like you at 19, 20 years old. I was like, well, I don't have anything else to do. And then my recruiter said, well, if that's the case, we do 6-year contracts. And I was like, it's only 6 years. Sure, why not?
6 years, drop in a bucket. Yeah. Drop in a bucket.
And then I called you. Hey, man, I signed a 6-year contract. You did what?
You did what? 6 years, brother? 6 years?
I remember that going on. It'll be good.
6 years? That's what you said.
Yeah,
what else am I doing, man?
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I'm going to work ESP the rest of my life.
Oh, I can go to college while I'm active. Yeah, you can.
I did.
And you did
go to college.
You were very smart with that. And you got a great MOS.
That was my promise to our mother, is that if I was going to be on active duty, I had to at least go to college while I was doing it. And I did. I made a promise and I saw it through. But
I made no such promise, Mom. And if you're listening, I regret nothing.
Well, I hate the fact that we posted that article because I thought there were some good points, and I really wanted to know what people's thoughts were on that, because my mind immediately went to a little bit of defiance. Like, yeah, you tell me why I'm better off.
Well, I think my knee-jerk reaction was, man, I didn't have that. I remember being a young E1 and gosh, 29 Palms, and my first home was a squad bay with
making $562
46
per paycheck.
Other dudes.
Yeah.
One shower that had 3 shower heads. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about, this says we're better off financially. What you talking about, Willis? I remember all of us getting together and chipping in for beer money. Yeah, and here's the thing. I got great training. I got a lot of things out of it. Like, I got housing, I got great training. I got to be around a group of people that helped me grow up quick. And people that thank goodness stopped me from growing up too quick. The people that were around to make you laugh and that told you that life wasn't that serious and tried to get you, to pull you away. It takes all kinds.
It does.
But I definitely didn't feel that, especially, until I got up into the, middle management, until I hit about E5 and I was like,
this is
hey,
what
you want to go out to eat?
Yeah. I don't have to eat at the chow hall every day. Oh.
The conversation to bring it back around was, our military members better off at the get-go than our civilian counterparts. I think there's pros and cons. I think we've proven that today. We've kind of gone through that. I know we stayed positive about it and wanted to see the best parts of this article, even though we don't feel like it was done correctly. I think that the article was good. It kind of gives us some exposure. It makes us reflect on how, yes, we did sign up. Yes, there are parts that are crappy, like hurry up and wait, right? But I, as a service member, did not have housing insecurity. I did not have food insecurity. I did not have healthcare insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
There was some financial insecurity that I had, but I think that was more personal, personal choices, and ignorance in some cases. But I do think overall my life has been better through my experience than some of my civilian counterparts whenever it comes to when we talk about money. I think there is an opportunity. I think that there was more opportunities on the civilian side that I might have had, but who would have known? So,
well, hindsight's 20/20. And I think it was a good article. You make a good point, and I think that's well said. Is that article had shown some light on the positive aspects of being in the military, and if I'm being honest, I think the positives of now as an adult being out of the military, for almost a decade, I can look at it and say, I think the military is a good experience as a whole. It was good for me. It was good for you. There are some intrinsic qualities that you leave the military with that our civilian counterparts, some of them don't.
Well, they're an employer.
Military's great, man. Everybody should join.
The military.
Before you can get your passport, you have to serve in the military for 2 years.
Stop it. Not everybody's cut out for that.
Breaking news.
It's not for everybody. But in all seriousness, Desk Talkers, thank you so much for coming in and starting this conversation with us. If you have some comments and opinions, we want to hear them. Please. All right, let's bring it out to the community. Let's talk about it, because you guys might have a viewpoint that we don't know. And if there is a weakness that we're not seeing, if there's a need that we need to shine a spotlight on, hey, this is the place to do it. All right, we want to hear your voices. Your voice will be heard. Thank you so much for being with us this week, and until next time.